It's time to review round 5. Let's get right into it. So the first game was the Friday night game, and Port Adelaide, as a lot of people predicted, would get an easy victory, and they did, winning by 90 points. Took over in the second half in the end.
Carlton should be banned for 5 years.
5 years?
5 years. Not allowed to be Friday night football for 5 years. AFL, I'm telling you now, if you put them on a Friday night football again, you should be sacked, Gil, alright? Because that was the worst decision there ever made, to put them on a Friday night football. Not even against a top 4 side. A top 4 side, let's be honest. Port Adelaide are top 8 at best. That's what everyone predicts anyway. And they got pumped by 90 points. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In the second quarter they did challenge and they just didn't take their chances, and then, as I said, from the second half they were scoreless in the third quarter. Port probably could have won by more, because that third quarter they kicked 6 goals 10. Robbie Gray probably could have kicked like 5, and could have been one of the most amazing quarters in like the last decade or so. He won the Peter Batco medal, which is like best on ground usually for every Port Anzac Day match they do. So he got it with, I think, 5 goals and 22 disposals, which probably wins you anything.
Yeah, 5 goals, 22, you're exactly right. Disposal efficiency was just through the roof for Port Adelaide compared to Carlton. I think Carlton was sitting in the 60% range and Port were in the high 70s. Low 80s. In that sense, better use of the ball.
Yeah, they definitely did a bit better. Casbolt actually kicked 4 goals. So
it's like Rocker's doing his job. Anthony Rocker, he's been teaching him, and clearly it's worked.
Yeah.
I think they did this a couple of years ago, where Casbolt sort of fixed up his kicking a little bit.
It's a good
sign. Then they got rid of him, and now they've brought him back. So be interesting.
So make sure you keep him there, Carlton, because it's working wonders for his kicking. So we'll move on to the first of the Saturday games. The Western Bulldogs, they won by 32 points, but wasn't that easy all game for the Bulldogs. They had to fight back. I think they were, might have been like 2 or 3 goals down at a 3/4 time, and they kicked 8 goals to 2 to give them the victory.
Yeah, well, Brisbane had a good second quarter and got out to 30 points. Yeah. And at the start of that, I think they managed to get it out to 33, 34 with a couple of misses. But from then on, it was all Bulldogs. They went from the start of the third quarter to 10 minutes into the third quarter. It was only 7 points of difference. So they went bang bang. Brisbane are a young side, not playing consistent footy, so they're not stringing that 4 quarters. They'll be alright, they've done alright.
But it's good to see the seniors playing well. Beams at 36 touches, Zorko 32, Rockcliffe 30, Stephen Martin got casual 49 hitouts, 14 to advantage. So, all their senior players are stepping up. It's just that next crop of players. Even though Eric Hipwood did kick 3 goals, so good to see up and coming key forward just get some goals, so it's good for the future for the Lions.
I think there's a lot of question marks over Shaki. I don't think there's quite a few rumours that he won't be there.
Maybe doesn't look as 100% committed to the club, maybe.
He's a bit struggling, and Hipwood probably got just as much talent, but you're just looking at the result in comparison. Yeah. And Shaki's way lower than Hipwood at the moment.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate. The Bulldogs got away with that one in the end. They have the Giants next week on a Friday night. Is that a better game Friday night?
That is a much better game.
It's in Monaco as well, so
it doesn't matter if it's a 10-goal result. At least you can say that your premiers versus the prelim finalists. So you can at least there's reason for putting that on a Friday night football.
Bit more reasonable, isn't it, compared to last week? So and the Lions.
I'm not saying don't share the love. Alright, there's plenty of love around.
It's good to see the Giants actually on a Friday night, because I don't remember the last time they've been in a Friday night game, so that's great to see.
Did they get one last year?
I think they may have got one.
They might have got one.
Snuck the one game or so.
Alright, we'll move on. My Crows knocked off Gold Coast pretty convincingly. Yeah, 67 points. I thought it was a lot closer than that, although the Crows got a comfortable win and they killed the contest basically at half time. The Gold Coast were there in the contest, especially in the middle. I think if you look at the stats, very even contest. When you're looking at stats, and Rodney earlier said, stats deceive. Well, I agree with him that stats do deceive. Mm-hmm. But if you look at how you use the ball, stats don't deceive. So Crows are at 77, Gold Coast at 76. Right? Disposal efficiencies there. Goals inside 50s, I think marks were... So inside 50s, Crows 62 to 49. You're just clearly seeing metres gained over there. You go and compare the metres gained. Gold Coast probably getting those possessions in the back line, chopping it around a bit. They turn it over in the middle part of the bowl. Crows, on the other hand, probably getting that ball up forward more, and when they do turn it over, it's still in their forward half, so they can still cause pressure and causing turnovers in that forward half rather than in the back half. So there's a lot to work with the Gold Coast. Barlow worked hard. I think he had 36. Ablett still got his possessions. He had 33. Probably not his best game. I mean, he missed a lot of targets with his kicking. 20-metre kicks of going over his players' heads straight to the Crows players.
I think they just looked more dangerous when they went forward more than Gold Coast did. From what I saw, I think obviously they had double figures in goal kickers. I think they had like 11 or 12. I think that's going to win you a lot of games if you get an even spread of goal kickers.
The scary thing for oppositions is you got to go. Matt Crouch 35. He had 1 goal. Sloan had a goal. Hampton had 2 goals very early on. That basically settled the game.
Midfield goals are valuable. And they're going to be valuable, especially for like top teams. You got these midfielders that can kick goals, and that's what the Crows are doing throughout the whole season. Really, I think Sloan has probably kicked the goal every game. I reckon.
Yeah, he's averaging a goal a game this year. That's what he's lifted up his game.
So we're going to the Sydney Derby, isn't it?
Well, this one was pretty quick in terms of the result. You go one way, it was Sydney 24-zip up. So yes, that's not an incorrect score. They were 4 goals up in about 5 minutes of the game. From then on, Giants, Cameron basically set up defensively. He stopped the bleeding, and Giants dominated from then on. I think it was 105 to 39 points from then on. So that's a shellacking in any maths.
So best on ground was Shane Moffat. He had 62 hitouts. 18 to advantage, so he just dismantled Tippett and Sinclair. Gave the Giants midfield first use, and it probably showed some of the midfielders. Callum Ward 27, Tom Scully 23, and Dylan Shield 21, Kelly 21. So they had a lot of the ball. Clearances, they had 16 more clearances. So.
Sydney, they're a good side, and they've gone under the radar a little bit because they weren't expected to win this game now. They've dropped off the cliff a little bit. But Longmire has a few questions to ask himself and see who he drops out of his team. Hanbury hasn't been great. He's been a star of the competition. Has he got concerns there? I think Kieran Jack has completely fallen off.
Yeah, that's... Kieran Jack, there you go. 12 disposals. That's...
For a midfielder?
He could maybe...
There's concerns. I mean, do you take Kieran Jack and put in a speedster? Because there's lacking some speed there.
I think it might be time maybe to make a statement. Maybe if you drop someone like a Kieran Jack, it might make a statement into the group. Saying no one is safe now.
Yeah, I think he's got to consider that because they've been such great players for such a long time.
Yeah.
But if they're not producing...
Well, as I said, Kieran Jack 12, Luke Parker only had 17. Like, he's a gun midfielder, for the last couple of years. And he's just not getting enough. It looked like their best player was their skipper Kennedy, and Lloyd had 29 touches, so he's been very good. But
make a statement, drop Parker and Kieran Jack.
That might be a good move, maybe,
I think you're coming up against Carlton, you're going to lose. If you're going to lose against Carlton, you're going to lose very many more games. So drop them 2, go back to them, dominate in the NEAFL.
Yeah.
It's a kid competition. They should get 50 disposals each. That's what they need to do. Get their confidence up, because I think they're lacking confidence as well.
The Giants, they're just cruising into the top 4 now.
Yes, there's no worries anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
The next game was Fremantle North Melbourne. This was the great escape.
So would you call this a choke and a half? I would call that, definitely.
This is why I was really undecided about this game. Last week I said I'm going to go North Melbourne.
But you didn't in the end.
No, I didn't. I flipped. I will say.
We both relieved because the gauntlet we both had Fremantle, and I got there in the last minute of the game.
Yes, last minute of the game.
Shane Kirsten kicked the goal with about 40 seconds left in the game. Got him a 5-point win.
Question marks over the senior players. Realistically, they are the players that need to make a statement and get the players back to defend. There was not one bit of defence.
Yeah,
you look at that last minute of play, it was even.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have players back?
It was a 6-on-6 contest going into that centre square. There should have been a 9-on-6.
That's a good point though, because what was it? Michael Johnson kicked the goal with about a minute and a half left in the game. Wouldn't it be at that point? You're only up by a goal. Put some people back.
Put some people back.
Like, I think Hanson was playing up forward. Why do you not put someone who can mark the ball, get him back?
I've got concerns over Brad Scott. I don't think he is. A lot of modern day coaches, they back their system, they back everything in. But your last minute of the game,
but that's a normal strategy. That's what every coach still does.
Just put a couple men back. That was a quick kick in.
Yeah.
They had a couple men back. There would have been a mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Game over.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Right, ends up going at the back. Kirsten kicks a goal.
But yeah, well, obviously the senior players stepped up again, 5-26. Michael Johnson had a very good game with 26 disposals. Mundy with 30 as well, and Sandlands with 55 hitouts. But you can expect that from Sandlands with his height. Yeah, North Melbourne, they once again played pretty good football until pretty much the last quarter, where they just...
well, after the first half of the first quarter, they pretty much dominated the game,
Yeah.
I thought watching it, I think in the last quarter they needed 4 goals without North Melbourne conceding, considering they'd only kicked something like 6 or 5, 7 goals for the whole game. They really should have dominated that.
So they should have been, to be honest with you, they should be 2-3 North Melbourne.
Oh, they could easily be 4-1.
Oh, they could be, but
that's how amazing their team's gone at the moment.
That's the game of footy, isn't it?
That's it. All right, we'll move on to the next game. Geelong versus St Kilda. I thought this was taking away from the game.
No, the margin does not describe like.
It was a great contest. Yeah. It was an absolute fantastic contest. 126-88 did not do St Kilda justice.
No, they just kicked away in the end.
Yes.
It was a great, as you said, it was a great contest. Both teams going hard at it. St Kilda, they matched them for 3 quarters.
Yeah, I thought St Kilda looked like they were gonna halfway through that third quarter. They looked like they were gonna finish off Geelong, but Geelong came storming back in red time again, and they finished them off in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But I have a beef with the umpiring. The umpiring was arguably the worst umpiring in the first half of the game on both sides.
Yeah, it was pretty...
I think...
there was some
from memory,
calls.
I think it cost St Kilda 2 goals and a 50-metre that ended up resulting in a goal.
The one against Montagna, I don't understand that one.
That was very confusing and could have probably played a big part in the competition. Selwood goes into his own player and gets a high free kick. Yeah. I think there was a below the legs free kick later that quarter.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just because there's too many rules they got to remember. Yeah. That's where the AFL just needs to just keep the rules. I don't want any changes from next year. But you know what's going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
they're going to find something to tinker with.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't keep the game still for a little bit.
No,
it would be nice. But probably the free kicks ended up being even. In that sense. But St Kilda, I think Bruce had a very soft free kick. There was a push in the bat that was not even a push in the bat for Bruce. He missed that shot.
Including 4 of the behinds he did miss in that quarter.
Yeah, he missed quite a few shots. But he missed that shot where it could have evened those mistakes up. At the end of the day, Geelong took their chances. St Kilda did not. They got another top performance from Dangerwood. And,
well, you're going to get that every week.
I reckon if I'd be coming up against them, I'd be getting 2 of my fittest blokes and be like, you stay on him all day.
That's fair enough.
If he goes to the bench, you go to the bench. If he goes on, you go on. Right?
No, that's fair enough.
Because I think if you shut them 2 down, you can potentially shut the whole
game. Oh, you definitely can.
Although Duncan and Guthrie and these types of players are improving, I think they haven't improved enough to carry the side. The G choke, Hawthorn knocked off the West Coast Eagles.
Why did I expect that this was going to happen, but I did not tip them? Like, you just, I don't know, from the very start of the game, you just had a feeling that Hawthorn were just looking good. West Coast have the MCG yips. And I don't think that's ever going to go away, unfortunately.
They didn't look in the contest.
No, definitely not.
Watching the first half, I mean, they're only 4 goals down, but it just didn't look like a contest.
They were just ordinary West Coast. I don't know what's going on with West Coast. Like, you see them play well one week, and they come to Melbourne and play ordinary. It's been like that for, the past few seasons, isn't it?
I mean, the question marks over some of these Hawthorn players, though, you could tick this week off. Mitchell, tick. O'Brien, tick. Rioli, tick. Burgoyne, tick. McAvoy, Bruce, Puopolo, they all performed.
There you go. Most of the senior players there.
There you go. So they really did improve. Burdens are fine. Pretty much, you can't say anything about West Coast. I mean, Shuey was good. Maston tried hard. Sheed.
And Darling kicked his goals, but Kennedy wasn't really in the game as much.
Structurally, they were just... It wasn't even structural, it was just outplayed.
Oh, yeah, I think Hawthorn just wanted it more. They were a lot more tougher.
They weren't awake at all. They were asleep. You could see, coming straight from the game, start of the game, they were asleep.
Obviously, they didn't watch their game against Richmond when they came here earlier this season, so...
Yeah, I thought the Richmond game, there was a bit more positive than this one. This one was against an aging side that hasn't won a game.
Yeah, and coming off 2 86-point thrashings.
That's it. against a not so great team and a reasonable
So
team.
I think we both agree that I think we might rule them out of a premiership contender since they can't win at the MCG where you have to win a premiership.
If they're looking to be in the top 8, which I think, you know, they're the 8th team at the moment, 9th, 7th,
yeah, about right. About
they're going to end up coming up against a Victorian side. I mean,
and there you go.
There's 3 Victorian sides
and
in
where
the
do you
top
think?
8 at the moment.
And where do you think? And you're going to be playing the MCG, so
that's just a massive advantage. All right, we'll move on to the Monday Anzac Day Eve game,
Yeah.
Richmond-Melbourne.
it was actually a good game, this one. Yeah, it looked like to me that Melbourne they played pretty well. They probably had the best of the first half. Maybe could have had a bigger lead, but
Yeah, they came out firing
Then,
didn't they, after
obviously,
their loss
then-
from last week.
yeah, and then a couple of injuries to Smith and then Spencer, their ruckman. That was a big loss because they didn't have a ruckman, so Watts had to take the ruck.
So all of a sudden, Ian Curvis went from
Darnell Curvis was.
advantage to crazy advantage.
I think he would have been first or second best on the ground.
Yeah, just purely on tap work.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it just looked like they were up by 20 points, I think, Melbourne, but they were 2 down. You just had the feeling Richmond were going to come back. And when they got a couple of goals, they had the momentum, and you just knew they were just going to run over them in the end, and which they did, unfortunately, for Melbourne.
I think Jack kicked 6.
Yeah. Difference in the end. It was wet weather footy, so 6 goals is quite valuable.
Especially from a tall forward.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge. Not much to say, I guess. Pretty disappointed. Very good by Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond were good. Melbourne, as I said, they were good first half, and then when Richmond got the momentum, they just couldn't handle it. Maybe that's where Jordan Lewis would have been pretty useful in the midfield, because that's where they got beat pretty easily in the last quarter.
Yeah.
Which is a bit disappointing.
It's been a huge loss for that team. Hogan in the last 2 weeks and Lewis in the 3 weeks suspension.
Well, it is now.
Could simply have cost them a top 8 spot.
Well, it definitely could now, because what are they, 2 and 3? Could have been 4 and 1.
Yeah, they're all of a sudden they're back in the pack.
Yeah.
All their early work has come to waste.
Yeah, but unfortunate. The game they could have won as well, compared to last week against Fremantle, same thing. But yeah, good for Richmond, undefeated. Now they're going to versus a fellow undefeated team in the Adelaide Crows, which is a huge test for them.
The Anzac Day game, Essendon v Collingwood. This was a great disappointment by Collingwood, I've got to say. But I'll be.
Could have played a little bit better.
I'll be a tape again.
I heard that
forward line was terrible.
You know what I heard?
Defence was terrible.
1 goal 8 from set shots today, Collingwood.
Yeah, 1 goal.
You're not going to win games if you kick 1 goal 8 from set shots.
The reason they're kicking 1 goal 8 is because they've got no forward line. So the forwards are not kicking the goals; it's their midfielders. When the midfielders are having the set shots, they're not there to kick the goals.
Well, I think the only forward that played well was Jamie Elliott. He kicked 3, and Wells kicked 2. First game back, we played pretty well.
I got to say, I'm surprised there wasn't any strategy going into the game. It's wet weather early, so I'm surprised that they put Mason Cox in. I thought they would have gone, oh, wait a minute, let's readjust, reevaluate these weather conditions. Let's take Cox out. Let's bring in a smaller forward. Let's try and run Essendon off their feet.
Speaking of a tall forward though, Joe Danaher won the Anzac medal. He played really well. He actually, because Collingwood coming in the third quarter, then Danaher in the ruck, gets there out, kicks it from about 60 out, gets them back the lead.
He was dominant. And this is why everyone said that he was the number 1 pick if he didn't go farther Sunday.
Oh, well, I think he's shown that potential. He could have kicked 7. He kicked 3 in the end.
Yeah. If
he kicks straight, but you're going to get that. If he keeps learning, keeps practicing that kicking, who knows? He could kick like a massive amount of goals each week. He's just a dangerous player.
He's a scary proposition.
200 centimetres. How can you defend that?
Not many players can. I mean, that's why there's team defence.
Yeah, and there was a couple of terrible decisions going both ways. This one, holding the ball rule, I don't know where that's gone. There was a couple.
Collingwood. How they must have paid the umpires. I know it didn't work, but
Zach Merritt in a period of 1 minute, he tackled a couple of people. They dropped the ball and they play on. I don't understand that. Isn't it? If you drop the ball, that's your pride.
And then 5 minutes later, it goes in the defence. Essendon ended up trying to kick the ball.
Yeah, Josh Green. Yeah, it was a drop kick, but I'm saying consistency here. If
that's the case, pin it for both or leave it for both.
Exactly.
That's all we want. It's not.
But yeah, Essendon were
that hard. Umpires get it right.
But as you said, the difference is it's the forwards. Dano kicked 3, Fantasia kicked 4. And Josh Green kicked 3 as well. Tipper Woody was dangerous up forwards. There's your difference in the end. And Collingwood's defence was just a bit ordinary.
Buckley's worst start to the season.
Yeah. So
and the scary thing for him is every year they've gone down under him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they're going to improve this year in terms of that record list.
And it gets worse next week. They've got Geelong, who are
coming off a 5-day break as well.
Yeah,
So
there could be
massive factor. So we'll go to our weekly tips.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, Friday night, GWS versus Bulldogs.
I'm going to go with the Giants in this one. It's at Monaco. Fantastic record there. I know last year the Bulldogs did beat them, but I think the Giants, they're just clicking into gear at the right time. Again, the last few weeks have just been on fire, so yeah, I think they'll get over the line.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bubbles. The Giants look too good. I think Bulldogs have been a bit sketchy and
they've been
out of form,
in patches, haven't they? They've been playing.
They have, but the good thing for them is they're 4-1.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're in a good position at the moment. All right, Hawthorn v St Kilda.
I'm gonna go with Hawthorn here, just because it's in Launceston. They do have a very good record there. I'm not sure about St Kilda's record there. I don't know if it's great.
I think they lost last year by 3 points. And
yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, McCann had a kick about a couple minutes left, I think, something like that. But yeah, no, I reckon Hawthorn, they've shown enough in that game against West Coast that they can maybe beat St Kilda. I reckon this will be a close game. I think Hawthorn just because of where they're playing.
Coin toss, Bubbles. I'm going to go St Kilda. I'm going to go against you.
Why not?
I'm going to back St Kilda in. I think they'll get a couple of their players back. Armitage was a withdrawal last week, so I think that extra midfield might get some depth. Their forward line is good, not spectacular in St Kilda, but I think there's just enough there. And their defence is a bit more assured now than that. They've got Brown, they've got Carla.
I will say that the defence does look a lot better this season, so that's going to be good for them.
So it'll be an interesting game. Next one is Carlton v Sydney at the G.
That's a tough one.
MCG.
Yeah, the MCG, yeah. No, I am going to tip Sydney, just because, as we mentioned about Carlton, who's going to kick a winning score. If it's raining, I might even consider Carlton, but I'm just going by logic. It's just going to be a nice day. I think Sydney, they do not want to be 0-6. Definitely not 0-6. So I reckon they should do enough. You said Buddy would kick 7. Might have to agree with you. He'll probably have a big game, and he'll probably be the difference of this game. So I think Sydney for me.
Yeah, I think if it's dry weather, Sydney will absolutely pump Carlton. I think everyone was going, it's not too bad for Carlton after a early start, but getting pumped by 90 points last week, I think they might be up for another 60-point loss here.
Yeah, it could be.
Sydney will want to show that they have some fight in them, and then they're not done. Brisbane, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Port Adelaide here. I don't know. It could be. It'll probably be close to the start, and I reckon Port might run away with it, probably with a bit more fresh legs. As you know, Brisbane, inexperienced team. They've been playing well. I think the last couple of weeks they've had good starts and then they just fall away in the end. I reckon similar thing will happen here. I think Port will just get away and just get a win here, I reckon.
You've summed it up pretty well there, Bubbles. I think Port will get the win. Brisbane have been playing well in pace, like you said. But if Port are a true top 8 contender, they got to win these games. They can't lose them.
100% agree.
West Coast v Fremantle, the derby.
Now, it is a West Coast home game, which is why I am going to go with West Coast. I think Sam Mitchell should be back, I assume. If he's back, I think he'll help that team. I think
he's 50-50.
50-50 at the moment. But I reckon West Coast, they've got the home crowd, so I think they'll just go over the line. But this could go either way because it is a derby. It could go either way.
Yeah. I think West Coast. I think West Coast will come back. They're so dominant, Subi. Fremantle got a couple great escapes, but I think their mature bodies will just get them up the line. All right, North Melbourne v Gold Coast.
I am leaning towards North Melbourne here, surprisingly. I reckon there's got to be a time they're actually going to win a game. They've been playing great football, just falling the last quarter. Hopefully this time, if they get a lead in the last quarter, Brad Scott will actually defend it. So I reckon another close game looks likely, and I reckon North Melbourne will just scrape over the line just because of that Etihad.
I will disagree with you again, Bubbles. I like Gold Coast. I think their midfield's been pretty good, and although they got pumped this week by 10 goals, they were a lot more in it than the score suggests.
Well, it could be a 7-goal hit from Lynch again.
Yeah, and you've got powerhouse like Lynch, and you've got Aaron Hall, Jack Munn. You've got enough talent there. I think they might just sneak over the line and send North Melbourne to one of their worst starts ever in North 6. So, anyway, on to the Sunday games. Essendon v Melbourne.
I'm going to go with Essendon, purely on the fact that of Melbourne's injuries. Well, Matt's gone out and Spencer out. Who's going to take the ruck? It's going to be tough. I know they'll get Lewis back, but I think Essendon, they showed against Collingwood that they are good enough to match with match any midfield, especially Melbourne's midfield with Lewis back in the team. And I think they've got the defence to handle like Hogan and all them. And they for like kick goals. Could be Danaher, Fantasia kicking 8+8 together to make a difference there. So I reckon Essendon will get over the line there.
I'm going to disagree with you, but for a different reason. Just there's a 5-day break there, and Melbourne have a 6-day break. I know that it's not significant, but not many teams come off a 5-day break. So coming off that 5-day break, Lewis coming back in, I think Melbourne will get up over Essendon. Anyway, Geelong v Collingwood.
I'm going to go with Geelong. Probably the same reason you just said about Melbourne, because they've got a 5-day break. Collingwood, Geelong, they're looking pretty good at the moment. 5-0, you can't complain. And expect Dangerwood once again to, guide this team to victory.
Yeah, I think Geelong will win. They just have too much of the bookends, too much defence, too much forward line. This is one of those games where Harry Taylor can't play it forward because they won't need it anymore.
Definitely.
So for Collingwood to actually compete, I think you need big games from their top forwards. Mason Cox, Darcy Moore. Can't leave it Elliott all the time. So I'll be going Geelong like you will. Adelaide v Richmond, last game.
So
probably the best game.
It is match of the round. I think it is match of the round. Both teams undefeated. I reckon Richmond will come out firing, but I reckon the Crows will end up being too good in this game. I think, as I said, Richmond will start well, but I reckon the Crows, they'll run away with it. Their midfield will dominate, led by Sloan and the Crouch brothers. Walker and Betts, maybe Jenkins if he's back. They'll kick a bag easily, I reckon. So I think a nice victory here for the Crows to keep themselves undefeated.
I'm most definitely eager to see the Crows go 6-0 and it'll be a great start, hopefully to a premiership dream. But
well, it could be. But it is only 5 weeks into the season. You never know what might happen.
That's true. I think North Melbourne, 8-0 or 9-0?
9-0. Yeah.
So they dropped off the cliff. I personally think the Crows have got a bit of list in them.
I think they are.
But like you said, that's true. Anything can happen. But hopefully we can knock off Richmond and 6-0.
I assume you would be there for that game. Oh, I hope so.
I don't think I will be, Bubs.
Oh, no.
I'll see if I get a ticket.
Oh, well, if they lose, we may know why. So that's it. I hope you guys...
rock up,
Exactly. They need you there. So that's it.
You need to go to Brisbane Bubbles. I think Port need to say... they need their number one fan, don't they?
We'll find out, Frenzy, for next week. Tune in next week for next week's review show.